are back on the court for match 3, and they will take on the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans. It's the final game of their 3 appearances in the Invitational for both teams. Carnegie Mellon defeated Mount St. Joseph in 3 sets yesterday, and this morning dispatched the Baldwin Wallace in 3 sets. John Carroll 1-1. They defeated Baldwin Wallace last night in 3 sets and then fell in 5 to Mount St. Joseph. Taking a look at the starting lineups first for the visiting Carnegie Mellon University Tartans. At middle blocker, a 6-foot freshman from Palo Alto, California, and Palo Alto High School, number 1, Sophie Pan. At outside hitter, a 6-foot senior from Davie, Florida, number 4, Catherine Jackson. At setter, a 5'7" junior from Los Angeles, California, and Harvard Westlake High School, number 8, Naya Tumala. At middle blocker, a 6-foot senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Hampton High School, number 10, Kai Herkenrother. At outside hitter, a 5'9" junior from Puerto Madera, California, and Redwood High School, number 18, Kate Zhang. At setter, a 5'10" freshman from Fremont, California, and Mission San Jose, number 20, Melissa Jin. And a defensive specialist is a 5'5" junior from Tiburon, California, and Deerfield Academy, number 9, Zoe Gavros. The Tartans are coached by Ann Bach, a 1998 graduate of Juniata College, who came into the weekend at 103 and 53 in 7 years leading the program. She is assisted by Aaron Street, a 2006 graduate of Wheeling Jesuit University. The John Carroll University Blue Streaks will start it off with a 5'8" junior outside hitter from Twinsburg, number 1, Haley Williams. A 5'8" sophomore setter from Huron, Ohio, number 4, Tess Humphrey. A 5'10" junior right side hitter from Chicago, Illinois, and Mother McCauley High School, number 15, Mary Kate Sheehan. A 5'11" senior middle hitter from St. Charles, Illinois, and St. Charles East High School, number 18, Kendra Jabinski. A 5'9" senior middle hitter from Elyria, Ohio, number 20, Deja Whidden. A 6-foot junior outside hitter from Kirtland, Ohio, number 25, Natalie Glow. And the defensive specialist is a 5'8" sophomore from Westlake, Ohio, number 22, Olivia McGordy. The Blue Streaks are head coached by Michelle Benoit. She is assisted by Brooke Turner, Joe Dreyer, Jason Bednar, Alex Johnson, and graduate assistant Abby Bednar. The Blue Streaks will be in white uniforms with blue numbers trimmed in gold, the JCU logo on the left shoulder, and the cross on the back nameplate of the jersey. The libero, Olivia McGordy, will be in blue with white numerals, white accents down the sides and shoulders of the jersey, blue streaks written across the back in white, and the JCU Athletics logo on the front of the jersey. The Tartans will be in red with white numerals and lettering. Carnegie Mellon printed on the back, Tartans printed on the front. The libero, Gavros, will be in white with black and red accents around the sleeves of the jersey and the collar. The Tartan logo on the left shoulder of the jersey. The other players on the floor for the Tartans will have the Tartan logo on the back nameplate. Kai Herkenrother hits it a little bit too long of the sideline, and the first point goes to the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. So Tess Humphrey will stay on serve. She punches it over. It's played by Jackson. Up to Tumala, outside to Jean. It's hit over on the first hit. And then tipped back by Herkenrother. It's sent over on the fly to Jackson. Now Herkenrother will hit it through a block attempt and get the kill for Carnegie Mellon. And they will tie the match at 1 apiece. Carnegie Mellon written in white on the back of the jerseys, and on the back of the jersey for the libero, Gavros, it says CMU underneath the number. The serve played over by the Blue Streaks. Backed up to Bella Woodard. Humphrey with a set. Sheehan with a hit. Is dug out by Tamala. Over to Gavros. Now to Woodard on the right side. into the tape of the net. Play is continued. An official in the stands says it was deflected, and it'll be hit over on the third by Woodard, backed up by Johnson. Tamala with the set. Jean with a back hit, goes to the back corner and puts it on the floor for the Tartans' point. 2-1. The Tartans lead the Blue Streaks here in the first set. Tamala back at the service line. It's played up by Williams and then sent over on a free. Tamala with a set, outside attack for Jean, and it's off a deflection and out of play. Point for the Tartans. Tamala stays on serve. Williams on the reception. Up to Humphrey. Hit at the net by Jablinski, and it's down for the John Carroll point. Natalie Glow will be on serve now for John Carroll. Gets her instructions from an assistant coach on where to place the serve, and it results in a service ace as Jackson has trouble handling it, and the Tartans can't get a second hit on the ball. Glow with the serve. Jean on the reception, up to Tamala. Middle hit from Woodard, and it's down for the kill. Kate Jean will drop back to serve. It's received by McGordy, up to Humphrey. Right side attack for Jabinski. That's going to get down off a deflection for a John Carroll kill. Jabinski on serve now. It's played up by Gavros to Tamala. Hit at the net and finished by Kai Perkenrother. That'll put Zoe Gavros at the service line for the Tartans. She'll fire it over the net. It's played by Glow tight to the net, and it's going to be a service ace as it hits the bottom of the net and falls to the court. Glow on the reception. McGordy on the dive, keeps it alive. It's sent over by Witten. Hit up to Tamala. Right side attack for Sophie Pan. Played up and over by Sheehan. Woodard to Tamala. Now to Jackson left side, and she sends it out. Point for the Blue Streaks. Nicholson and Jones return for the Blue Streaks, or come on for the first time in this match anyway. They were an integral part of the lineup in that first match of the day for the Blue Streaks. It's received by Jean, up to Tamala, over to Woodard, and dug out by Nicholson. Over to McGordy, now to Glow, who sends it over. Tamala with the set, outside attack for Jackson, and it's down for the Carnegie Mellon kill. Melissa Ginn on the serve. Williams takes the reception, and it's played over. Gavros sends it over to Jackson, who plays it over on a free. McGordy to Nicholson to Whitten on a dive. Gavros keeps it alive. Jean with a second hit. Jackson plays it over on a free. Whitten to Nicholson to Williams, and Williams hits it out of bounds, and it's on the fly, not a deflection. It's a point and serve over to the Tartans. Melissa Ginn back on serve. She floats it over. It's played by Williams. Back to Williams from a set from Nicholson. And played over by Pan. Dug out by Glow. Williams with a hit from the left side. Dug out by Jackson. To Pan. Back row attack for Jean. Glow with the hit. Up to Nicholson. Right side attack for Jones. Dug out by Jean. Up to Tumala. Over to Jackson. Glow digs it out. Tip over on the second hit by the Blue Streaks. And now the Tartans will send it over. Jackson hits it. Glow with one hand keeps it alive. Now Williams sends it back. Jean on the deflection sends it over on one fly. And so will McGordy. Now Pan at the line. Hits it through a block and it's down for the Tartans point. Jin on the serve once more, and that's going to be an ace. It's unreturned by the Blue Streaks. The next serve by Jin goes a little bit too far and out of play. So the Blue Streaks will get the point and get the serve back. And checking in for the Blue Streaks to relieve Williams is number 3, Allie Derlick, a 5'3" junior defensive specialist from North Canton, Ohio, and Canton Central Catholic, who will go on serve. She floats it over, played on a dive by Jean. Over to Jackson, dug out by McGordy, goes over on the first hit. Then it's sent over by Gavros, and the Tartans can't handle it. It is down for a Blue Streaks point. Serve from Derlick is into the net, and it's down for a Tartans point. The serve from Jackson is down in the far back corner. It's an ace for Carnegie Mellon. Jackson's next serve, far back corner again. Glow on the reception. She's set up for an outside attack. She'll tip it over. Jin to Tamala. Big swing by Pan, backed up by the Blue Streaks. McGordy with a set. Jones with a big swing. Hit by Jackson. Over to Jin. He'll be sent over on a free by Jackson. Whitten to Nicholson. Outside attack for Glow. Into a block. It's backed up by Jean. To Tamala. Back to Jean. Middle hit. Into a block. Tamala to Gavros. Over to Jean, left side, and she puts it down off a deflection from McGordy. Timeout on the floor by the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. They trail at 13-7 here in the first set. We'll take a timeout with them. We'll be back with more first set action between Carnegie Mellon and John Carroll on the other side of this break on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's the 2025 Marcia French Volleyball Invitational Day 2 action. We are in match 3, I should say, of a quadruple header. This one featuring the John Carroll Blue Streaks and the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans. Midway through this first set, the Tartans lead the Blue Streaks 13-7. Matt Florjancic on the call of the action today. It has been an exciting day. John Carroll finished up a 5-set thriller with Mount St. Joseph before getting a half-hour respite ahead of this game. This match, I should say. Jackson stays on serve for Carnegie Mellon. McGordy on the reception. Up to Nicholson, and it's buried for the John Carroll point by Grace Jones. Jabinski comes back onto the floor for John Carroll to relieve Whitten. McGordy will drop back to serve for the Blue Streaks. It's played by Gavros. Up to Tamala. Back row attack for Jackson with a roll shot. She gets it over. Played tight to the net by Jabinski. Then sent over by Tamala on the second hit for the Tartans. Now Glow with a perfectly placed free ball to the outside sideline, and all of the Tartans were committed to the one side of the court, and that left a whole lot of hardwood for Glow to put the ball down on. McGordy sends it over. Jackson on the reception. Tamala to Zhao through a block on a dive. It's kept alive. And Jones fires it up through a block. Jackson backs it up. Tamala sets it for Pan, and it is directed out of bounds by the Blue Streaks. Point for the Tartans. Sophie Pan goes to serve for Carnegie Mellon. And she sails it long. Point and serve over to the Blue Streaks, and that will bring on Humphrey and Sheehan to replace Jones and Nicholson. And we'll check out. Herkenrother will come back in for the Tartans. Humphrey serve, played up to Tamala, now to Zhao, left side, big swing dug out by McGordy. McGordy will send it over on the third hit. Gavros to Tamala, over to Herkenrother, and it's down for the Carnegie Mellon kill. Jin will check out. Bella Woodard will come back in for Carnegie Mellon. Tamala serves it up. McGordy on the reception. Over to Glow. She taps it over. Gavros to Tamala to Zhao, and she buries the kill for the Tartans. Tamala with the serve. It's received by McGordy up to Humphrey. And that attack is redirected by the Tartans. Point for Sheehan and the Blue Streaks. Williams comes on to replace Derlick. And Glow will be on serve. It's played by Zhao, tight to the net. Hit by Herkenrother. Humphrey with a set. Jabinski with a redirect, played up by the Tartans. Zhao with an outside attack, and it's down off a deflection for a Tartans point. Zhao on the serve. Received by John Carroll. Williams with an outside attack off of Gavros' arm. It is about 8 rows deep into the bleachers as that ball went flying off of Gavros. Jabinski on serve now for the Blue Streaks. Jackson on the reception to Tamala, over to Woodard, and that is kept alive by the Blue Streaks. Williams will send it over into a block. And then back herself up, but Sheehan mistimes her jump and hits the ball into the net. Gavros will go to the service line, looking to build on a 6-point lead. Glow on the reception. Up to Humphrey, over to Sheehan. It's dug out on a dive by Zhao, goes into the net, and Carnegie Mellon cannot elevate it up and over. Point and serve to the Blue Streaks. Nicholson and Jones return for John Carroll. Nicholson on serve, and that's going to be an ace as Zhao can't get there on the dive. Nicholson will stay on serve. It's played up by Zhao to Tamala to Woodard on the right side, and it's blocked out of bounds by the Blue Streaks. Point for the Tartans. Melissa Zinn will check in for Bella Woodard, and she will go on serve. In the penultimate match of the day, Williams sets it up. It's hit through a block by Grace Jones, and it's down for a Blue Streaks point. Haley Williams comes in, and she'll be on serve for the first time today. Checking into the match, seeing her first action. Number 21, Lauren Conley. Off the top of the net, Williams gets it up and over for an ace. Williams stays on serve. Zhao on the reception. It's sent over on a third. Nicholson sets it for Jones. Dug out by Zhao. Up to Tamala. Over to Jackson. Left side. Through a block. Backed up by McGordy. To Nicholson. Out of Jones. Jones has it blocked down. It's a point for the Tartans. Williams is out. Whitten is back for John Carroll. Jackson on serve for Carnegie Mellon. McGordy on the reception. Up to Nicholson. Over to Jones, and she smashes it out of bounds. Point for the Tartans. Carnegie Mellon leads it 21-16 here in the first set. Jackson stays on serve. Conley takes it. Whitten punches it over on the third hit. Tamala with a set. Back row attack for Jackson. Dug out by McGordy, then tipped over by Zhao. Now Conley hits it into a block, and it's deflected and sent over by Deerlich. Up to Pan, who smokes it down the line. It's dug out by McGordy and sent over by Jones. Jin to Tamala, over to Zhao, and she buries the kill through a block. 22-16. The Tartans lead by 6. Played up by Conley. She'll get it back on a set, and she will hit it out of bounds on a deflection. Point to the Blue Streaks. And the line judge gets a nice Bronx cheer from the coaching staff at John Carroll. They've had some discrepancies in the calls, and some of them have been rightfully so. But nonetheless, John Carroll gets the point and the serve, and just as soon as they get good news, McGordy sends the serve a little bit too long. It's another point for the Tartans. Sophie Pan on serve. Conley on a reception. It's set up for Jones through a block. Backed up by Jin on a dive. Set up for Herkenrother. Played up by Derlich. And then it's punched over on a third. A point is awarded to Carnegie Mellon on 4 hits. And Michelle Benoit says, hey, wait a second. It sure looked like Carnegie Mellon reached over the net. And she has a point. Sure did look like that. Set point for the Tartans. Pan serves it over. It's played up for Jones off the top of the net. And off an infraction, Carnegie Mellon will get the set point, and they take the first set by a 25-17 count. So it's 1-0 in favor of the Tartans. The teams will switch sides, and we'll take a break with them. When we come back, we'll have more action from the 2025 Marcia French Volleyball Invitational at Baldwin Wallace University on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's match 3 of this quadruple header as the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans play the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. After one set, the Tartans lead the Blue Streaks 1-0. 2-0. Leading the way in that first set for Carnegie Mellon with 6 kills. It was Kate Jean. 2 kills from Bella Woodard, 3 from Herkenrother, and then 1 each from Sophie Pan and Catherine Jackson. 10 of the 13 set assists went to Nea Tamala. The other 3 went to Zoe Gavros, Jackson, and Melissa Jin with 1 serve ace each. Leading the way in digs with 6, it was Catherine Jackson. 5 each for Jean and Jin. 4 from Gavros, 2 from Woodard, and 1 each from Pan and Tumala. And then a block assist each to Pan and Jackson. Leading the way for John Carroll. 2 kills apiece for Haley Williams, Kendra Jabinski, and Natalie Glow. 1 each for Lauren Conley, Mary Kate Sheehan, and Grace Jones. 4 set assists for Tess Humphrey, 3 for Haley Nicholson, 1 for Kendra Jabinski. 3 service aces, Williams, Nicholson, and Glow with those for John Carroll. Leading the way in digs with 8, Olivia McGordy, and then no blocks for John Carroll in that first set. So Carnegie Mellon will hit left to right in the second set. John Carroll will hit right to left. Tamala with the serve. It's sent over by Glow. Dug out by Woodard. Set over for Jean with a roll shot. It's down for the Carnegie Mellon Tartans point. On the floor for the Blue Streaks, it's Williams, McGordy, Glow, Humphrey, Sheehan, and Jabinski. On the floor for the Tartans, Herkenrother, Jean, Woodard, Gavros, Jackson, and Tamala. Tamala gets the service ace as Glow couldn't handle it. Tamala stays on serve. Glow receives it. Up to Humphrey, over to Sheehan, and she buries it for the kill. This one's hit over by Glow. It'll be sent into a block by Woodard. It's backed up. Tumala with a set. Jean hits it through a block, and it's down for the Carnegie Mellon point. Jean on serve. McGordy on a reception. Up to Humphrey. It's punched into the back corner by Jabinski, and it's down for the kill. So Jabinski will go on serve. Hits it over with the right hand, and it's down for an ace. Gavros went to hit it, and she kind of fanned on it and puts her head in her hands in kind of an embarrassing moment, and her teammates kind of give her some encouragement as Jabinski will be back at the service line. This one's played by Jackson. Up to Tamala. Back to Jackson. Through a block. It's down for the Carnegie Mellon point. Gavros on serve. It's received by Glow. Up to Humphrey. Right side attack for Sheehan. Dug out by Tamala. Over to Gavros. Now to Jackson left side. Down for the kill as she went to that far sideline. Gavros' next serve played up by Glow. Williams hits it over on the third. Dug out by Jean. Up to Tamala. Middle hit for Pan. Goes back corner and puts it down for the kill. Gavros' next serve on the way. And it's received by Glow and then tapped down by Pan as it goes all the way to the net. And that's another point for the Tartans, and they lead it 7-3 here in the second set. Gavros hits it over, Glow on a reception. Gets sent up and over by the Blue Streaks. Now Woodard puts it in the back row, dug out by McGordy. Hit over on a second by the Streaks. Now Jackson with a kill attempt. Played over by Williams on a dive. It's kept alive by Jean. Hit over by Tamala on a dive. It's kept alive by McGordy, and then it's finished at the net by number 12, Brooke Conlon, a 5'10", first-year student from Chicago, Illinois, and Marist High School. Sheehan and Humphrey check out. Jones and Nicholson come in. Nicholson on serve. It's played by Jackson. Up to Tamala. Over to Woodard for a right side attack, and that's going to get down for a kill. Off a deflection from a John Carroll Blue Streak. Checking in and going on serve for Carnegie Mellon. Number 11, Izzy Seyfert. She sends it over. Williams plays it up to Nicholson. Over to Jones, and she buries the kill for John Carroll. And this young lady, she's only a first-year player out of Worcester High School. She's going to be a force in the North Coast Athletic Conference for years to come. She is an outstanding young athlete. Williams on serve. It's received by Gavros. Over to Jackson. Sent over on a free by Gavros. McGordy tight to the net. It's punched over by the Blue Streaks, then right back by the Tartans. Set up for Glow on the outside. Gavros on the dig. Up to Tamala. Over to Pan. On a dive. McGordy keeps it alive. Now it's sent over by Jones. Jean to Jackson through a block, and it's down for the kill. The assist goes to Tamala. Substitution for the Blue Streaks checking in. Allie Derlick, a junior from Canton Central Catholic. And Jackson on to serve for Carnegie Mellon. It's played by McGordy. Up to Nicholson, over to Glow, and she buries the kill from the left side. McGordy on serve for John Carroll. It's played up by and over by Jackson. It's set up for an outside attack from Jones, dug out by Seyfert. Up to Tamala, now to Jean, blocked at the net, but kept alive by the Tartans. Jean mishit a roll shot, and it went into the bottom of the net for a John Carroll point. McGordy on serve with the Blue Streaks trailing by 2, 9-7 here in the second set. They're now 1-0. Gavros on the reception, up to Tamala. Pan hits it into a block. It's backed up by Seyfert. Now Jean hits it, and it is knocked out of bounds by the Blue Streaks. It's a point for the Tartans. Sophie Pan on serve for the Tartans. She'll float it over. Glow on the reception. Up to Nicholson. Back to Glow. Left side attack. Hits it out of bounds. Point for the Tartans. Sophie Pan serve. Sent over. Played up by Derlick. Now over by Jabinski, and it's down for the John Carroll kill. Humphrey and Sheehan return with Humphrey going on serve. Jean with a big hit at the net for the Tartans, handled by the Blue Streaks. Glow tips it over. Played up to Jean once more, through a block, and on a dive, McGordy sends it over the net on the second hit. Quick tip by Tumala, sent over on a free by Derlick. Point is awarded to the Tartans for a 2-hit violation on the Blue Streaks. Woodard returns for Seifert on the Tartan side of the court. Tumala back at the service line, and she is dangerous there. Played by Glow over the net, finished at the net by Kate Jown. She says, I will take that and punctuate this point with an open court kill. Timeout on the floor by the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. We will take it with them. We'll be back with more second set action right after this break on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's NCAA Division III women's volleyball action on tap this afternoon. The Carnegie Mellon Tartans came out of the timeout on serve, and Tumala committed a service error, so that will give serve and point over to the Blue Streaks, and it will be Gigi Boozlink, the 5'7" sophomore defensive specialist from Columbus, Ohio, and Bishop Watterson High School. He checks in and goes on serve. It's played by Jown up to Tumala. A right side attack for Herkenrother, and she puts it down for the kill. Kate Jown on serve. Fires it over. Played by Williams. Over to Sheehan and hit over by Williams on a dive. Gavros keeps it alive. Herkenrother hits it into a block, and it's down for the John Carroll point. Jabinski on serve. It's played by Gavros over to Woodard, now into a block. And it's sent underneath the net by Gavros. It's another point for the Blue Streaks. Jabinski on the serve for John Carroll. Herkenrother hits it into another block, and it's again down for a Blue Streaks point. Out of the timeout, 3 straight points for the Blue Streaks. And we have a timeout on the floor by the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans. We'll take it with them on the backside of this break. We'll have more second set action between Carnegie Mellon and John Carroll right here on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's NCAA Division III women's volleyball action on tap this afternoon. It's match 3 of a quadruple header with John Carroll and Carnegie Mellon. And John Carroll's serve from Jabinski goes a little bit long. It's a point and serve over to Carnegie Mellon. On the floor for Carnegie Mellon, Gavros, who's on serve, with Jown, Tumala, Woodard, Pan, and Jackson. Williams with a kill on the outside for John Carroll. She's on the floor with Sheehan, Humphrey, Boozlink, McGordy, and Conlon. And now Jones and Nicholson return for John Carroll to relieve Sheehan and Humphrey. And Nicholson will be on serve. It's received by Jackson. Up to Tumala. Over to Jackson, left side, off the top of the net. It's down for a kill in front of a diving Boozlink. Seifert comes in for Woodard, and Seifert will go on serve. Seifert's serve results in an ace as it's misplayed by the Blue Streaks. Timeout on the floor by John Carroll. It's second and final timeout. We'll take it with them on the other side of this break. More second set action for you on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into Ursprung Gymnasium at Baldwin Wallace University. Matt Florjancic on the call. Today's volleyball action in match 3 of 4. John Carroll and Carnegie Mellon doing battle. Out of the timeout, John Carroll sends Boozlink, McGordy, Jones, Conlon, Williams, and Nicholson onto the floor. And the Tartans will respond with Gavros, Jackson, Jown, Tumala, Pan, and Seyfert, who's on serve. Seyfert serve. Played in the back by Williams. Up to Nicholson, over to Jones, and she buries the kill through a block. And again, this young lady continues to impress. The former Worcester General standout, doing an outstanding job for this John Carroll team in her rookie season. Boozlink checks out. Williams goes on serve as Glow returns for John Carroll. Jown on the reception to Tamala. Over to Jackson. Jackson hits it into the net. It's another point for the Blue Streaks. Williams on the serve, Jown on the reception, over to Pan, and it's going to be played up and over on the dig. Then Jackson has her shot blocked, but the Tartans keep it alive. Jown with a back row attack, puts it to the line, and it's down for the Tartan point. Jackson with the serve for Carnegie Mellon. It's played tight to the net, tipped over by Conlon. Gavros with the set, over to Jown, and she buries the kill off a deflection from Nicholson. Jackson stays on serve, sends it over. McGordy on the reception, up to Nicholson, over to Glow left side, dug out by Gavros, to Tamala, now to Jown on the left side, through a block, tipped over by Conlon. Seyfert to Tamala, over to Jown once more, off the top of the block, dug out by McGordy, to Nicholson, now to Glow, off the top of the net, it's down for a John Carroll point. McGordy on serve. It's received by Jackson. Up to Tamala. Big swing from Pan. Blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Blue Streak. Sent over by Glow. And it's down for the point as she soft touched it over a block attempt. And the Blue Streaks cut the deficit 2-2. It's 19-17. Carnegie Mellon in front. McGordy's serve. Received by Seyfert in the back row. To Tamala. Now to Jown. Off of McGordy. It's off the basketball hoop twice. Stuck with by Williams. Sent over by Glow on a free. Gavros tight to the net. Tamala with a quick tip. Dug out by McGordy. Now big swing from Kendra Jabinski, and she buries the kill for the Blue Streaks. Timeout on the floor. It's the second and final timeout for the Tartans in this set. We're going to step aside with them when we come back. We'll finish off the second set between John Carroll and Carnegie Mellon on the other side of this break on Flow College. Welcome back, everybody. Out of the break, McGordy's serve is thundered down to the court by Kate Jown, and she puts Carnegie Mellon back in front by 2 at 20-18 here in the second set. Sophie Pan will be on serve. She fires it over. Williams to Nicholson to Jones. Through a block, it's down for another John Carroll point. And this young lady continues to get good looks on that right side, and she is a strong player that's delivering for John Carroll. Jones and Nicholson will check out. Humphrey and Sheehan will rotate back in, and Humphrey will be on serve. Humphrey floats it over. Jackson to Tamala, over to Herkenrother, and she smokes it out of bounds. We're even at 20 here in this second set. Humphrey's next serve, played up by Jackson, and it's going to be an ace as Carnegie Mellon cannot play it over. 21-20, John Carroll leads it here in the second set. Jackson on the reception, over to Tamala, now to Zhao. She buries the kill far back corner and draws the Tartans even with the Blue Streaks. Tamala on serve, fires it over. McGordy up to Humphrey, now to Glow, and that's going to be a kill for the Blue Streaks. Natalie Glow on serve now for John Carroll. The Blue Streaks lead at 22-21. Glow's serve, received by Jackson. Up to Tamala, over to Zhao, left side with a roll shot. On a dive, McGordy keeps it alive. It's tipped over by the Blue Streaks. Now Zhao with another roll shot. McGordy there to Humphrey. Quick middle hit. Down from Jabinski off a deflection. It is 23-21. John Carroll in front now. Glow's next serve is an ace. It drops in front of Jackson, and it's set point for the Blue Streaks. Glow on a serve, received by Gavros. Over to Zhao, it goes, and that's going to go back over on Glow's dive. Now Zhao with one more big swing, dug out by McGordy. Up to Humphrey, sent over on a free, played by Jackson, tight to the net. Tamala with a tip, it's punched over by Herkenrother. Humphrey with a set, big swing from Williams, and it's down for a Carnegie Mellon point. But it's still set point for the Blue Streaks as they lead at 24-22. Zhao on serve. It's played over on the reception from McGordy. Gavros with the set. Woodard with a hit. Diving to her left to keep it alive is Humphrey. It's sent over by Sheehan, and it's ruled down by the line judge. That's your set point, and John Carroll has evened this match at one set apiece, taking the second set by a 25-22 count. We're going to step aside for a break as the teams switch sides and get ready for the third set. And when we come back, we'll bring that third set to you between the John Carroll Blue Streaks and the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans at the Marcia French Volleyball Invitational at Baldwin Wallace University right here on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's NCAA Division III women's volleyball action on tap this afternoon as it's a quadruple header. We're in match 3 of 4 today from Berea between the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans and the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. After 2 sets, we're even at 1 apiece. Carnegie Mellon won the first set 25-17, and John Carroll stormed back 25-22 to take the second. Taking a look at some individual numbers leading the way for Carnegie Mellon with 14 kills already. Kate Zhao, she has added 7 digs, well on her way to a double-double. Then the next leading hitter for Carnegie Mellon is Katherine Jackson with 5 kills. She's added 7 digs as well, so potential for a double-double there as well. Nea Tumala has a team-leading 21 set assists out of 27 for the entire team. Leading the way for John Carroll with 6 kills each, Kendra Jabinski and Natalie Glow. And then it's 4 kills for Grace Jones and 17 total attacks. 3 kills for Haley Williams and Mary-Kate Sheehan, and 1 each for Brooke Conlon and Lauren Conley. Leading the way in set assists with 11, Haley Nicholson, and 10 for Tess Humphrey. And the Blue Streaks have 6 service aces to 5 for Carnegie Mellon. Leading the way in digs already with 20, Olivia McGordy. The lone block of the game for Carnegie Mellon is a combo block between Sophie Pan and Katherine Jackson. 2 block assists for Haley Williams and Brooke Conlon, and 1 each for Mary-Kate Sheehan and Kendra Jabinski. That catches you up on all the action through 2 sets as we get set for the 3rd set of action. On the floor for the Blue Streaks, Humphrey, McGordy, Williams, Glow, Jabinski, and Sheehan. On the floor for the Tartans, Tumala, Heckenrother, Jaun, Jackson, Seyfert, and Gavros, and it'll be Humphrey for John Carroll, who's on serve. Humphrey punches it over. It's played by Seyfert, up to Tumala, over to Jaun, and she puts it down for the Carnegie Mellon kill. Seyfert checks out, Woodard checks in. Tumala will be on serve. It's played by Williams. Up to Humphrey, over to Sheehan off the top of the net. It's played up to Herkenrother, sent over on a free by Gavros. McGordy to Humphrey. Big swing from Jabinski, and it's blocked down by Kai Herkenrother. Nea Tumala back to serve. Hits it over with the right hand. McGordy up to Humphrey. Over to Glow on the right side. It's sent over on a free by Herkenrother. Humphrey with a set. Glow with an outside attack. Blocked down by Herkenrother and Bella Woodard for the Carnegie Mellon point. Slight delay in the action as the John Carroll coaching staff has requested that music in the field house be turned off as it is seeping into the gymnasium. Tumala plays the serve over, and it's an ace for the Tartans. They lead at 4-0 here in the 3rd set. Tumala stays on serve. It's played by McGordy, tight to the net. Humphrey over to Sheehan, and she punches it to the back line, and it's down for a John Carroll point. Natalie Glow on the serve for John Carroll. It's received by Jaun. Over to Jackson, back to Jaun on the left side. Dug out by Glow, over to Humphrey. Now to Sheehan on the right side. Dug out by Tumala. Over to Gavros. Left side attack for Jaun into a block. It's backed up by Herkenrother, It's blocked at the net, but backed up by Gavros on a dive. Sent over on a free by Tumala. Hit up to Humphrey. Outside attack for Williams. Dug out by Gavros, but that one's making it into the stands about 4 rows deep. So point for the Blue Streaks. hits it over. It's played by Gavros to Tumala. Now to Herkenrother. Diving to keep it alive is McGordy. It's sent over by the Blue Streaks. Now to Jaun. Off the top of a block, and Glow keeps it alive on a dive. It's hit over on a free on the third. Now to Jaun on the left side. Into a block. It's down for a Blue Streaks point. Natalie Glow sends it over. Jackson on the reception. Tumala sets it up for Herkenrother, and it's down for the Carnegie Mellon start. It's killed. Kate Jaun on serve for Carnegie Mellon. It's played back row by McGordy, up to Humphrey, over to Sheehan on the right side. Dug out by Tumala, over to Gavros. Now to Jackson on the left side, and she buries it for the kill. Jaun stays on serve. Carnegie Mellon up 6-3 here in the third. It's one set apiece. Williams on the reception, up to Humphrey, over to Jabinski. Kept alive by Tumala, tight to the net. And it's a 4-hit violation for Carnegie Mellon. It's a point for the Blue Streaks. Jabinski on serve. It's played by Jackson. Up to Tumala, over to Woodard, into a block. It's down for the Carnegie Mellon point. Zoe Gavros will drop back and go on serve now for the Tartans. It's played up to Humphrey. Right side attack for Sheehan. Handled by Tumala, over to Gavros. Now back row attack for Jaun on a roll shot. On a dive. It's kept alive by McGordy. Sent over to Williams. Blocked down. Then deflected over twice. Then hit right back at the Blue Streaks. Now Sheehan sets up for an attack. And Jaun will hit it out of bounds. Sheehan and Humphrey check out. Jones and Nicholson will check in for the Blue Streaks. And Nicholson will be on serve. Played by Jackson, low to the ground. Tumala can't elevate it much better, and it's down for the ace. Nicholson serve, played by Jackson, up to Tumala, over to Woodard on the right side, over top of a block, and it's down over a couple of diving Blue Streaks. And Natalie Glow comes up a little bit worse for wear, looking at her right hand, trying to shake it loose. Might have caught underneath her on a dive. Izzy Seyfert checks in and goes on serve for the Tartans. It's played up to Nicholson, punched over by Conlon, and it is down for the Blue Streak kill. Gigi Boozlink will check in, and she will spell Haley Williams. Boozlink will go on serve. It's played by Gavros. Up to Tumala. Now to Pan. Through a block. It's down for a Tartans point. Catherine Jackson on serve for the Tartans. Received by McGordy, up to Nicholson, and hit out of bounds by Conlon. The line judge says it was deflected by the Tartans, so the point goes over to the Blue Streaks. And that goes in the books as a kill for Conlon. McGordy with the serve. It's played by Seyfert, and it's going to be an ace for the Blue Streaks. even at 9 here in the third set after the ace from McGordy. McGordy's next serve, played by Seifert. Up to Tumala. Aggro attack for Jackson. Dug out by Nicholson. Sent over to Jones. Jackson up to Tumala. Over to Pan. Off the top of a block. It's down for a Carnegie Mellon kill. Sophie Pan will check in and go on serve. Hit over and out by Pan. Gavros will come back for Carnegie Mellon. And back in for the Blue Streaks, Sheehan and Humphrey to replace Jones and Nicholson respectively. Humphrey on serve, Gavros on reception. Tumala then is punched over by Herkenrother. On a system hit, on a free ball is sent over by the Blue Streaks. Gavros hustles after it on Jackson's first hit, then Jown sends it over on a free. Boozlink to Humphrey, to Glow, off the top of a block, backed up by Gavros, to Tumala, now to Jown, and she buries the kill from the left side for the Tartans. Bella Woodard checks in for Izzy Seifert of the Tartans. And Carnegie Mellon has serve. It's Naya Tumala who will serve it up. Played by Olivia McGordy, and it's down for the ace. McGordy had it carry him off of her left arm directly backwards, and Boozlink couldn't get there with a dive. Tumala's next serve, played by McGordy. It's out of bounds. It's another ace for the Tartans. Timeout on the floor by the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. It's their first timeout of this set. We'll take it with them on the other side of the break. More action between JCU and CMU on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Matt Florjancic on the call of today's matches at the Marcia French Volleyball Invitational at Baldwin Wallace University. It's match 3 of 4 on the day as the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans battle the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. And Carnegie Mellon came out of the timeout with a serve, and an infraction was called against the Blue Streaks. So the point goes over to the Tartans. Tumala stays on serve. McGordy, self-defense swing, trying to keep it alive. It's an ace for the Tartans. Tumala will stay on serve. It's played up and into a block by John Carroll, and it is down for another Tartans point. Wallace stays on serve, looking to build on a 6-point lead. Floats it over, and it's another ace as Natalie Glow has trouble receiving it. She got crossed up on the reception, and Tumala has taken the team lead in serve aces on the year. McGordy to Humphrey, punched over by Sheehan. Gavros to Tumala, over to Jown, into a block, and it's out of bounds off of the Blue Streaks. Another kill for Kate Jown. Timeout on the floor by the John Carroll Blue Streaks. It's their second and final timeout of the set. We'll take it with them on the back end of this break. More action between John Carroll and Carnegie Mellon coming up on Flow College. Defensive lineman. Just how you draw it up. Nice. What? Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin, Wallace University. It's Carnegie Mellon and John Carroll battling it out in match 3 of 4 on the day. On the reception of the serve, it goes over the net, right back to the Tartans. John with a roll shot, backed up by Humphrey to McGordy, over to Glow, tips it over a block. It's down for a John Carroll point. And out of the timeout, they break the run by the Tartans and cut the deficit to 7 at 18-11. Williams checks in for Boozlink, and Glow will be back to serve for John Carroll. Glow sends it back. Jackson with the hit. Up to Tamala. Big swing from Woodard. It's down for the Carnegie Mellon kill. One of the starters for John Carroll throughout much of the weekend, Callan Ricks, not playing yet in this match. She is icing her right shoulder, and we send her the best wishes. Hopefully she's able to overcome whatever ails her to get back on the court as soon as possible. A point for the Blue Streaks on the kill at the line. Zabinski on serve now. Jackson on the reception to Mala to Woodard, and she buries the left-handed kill from the right side. So Gavros will be on serve now for Carnegie Mellon as Allie Derlick comes in for Natalie Glow. On a dive, Derlick keeps it alive to Humphrey, over to Williams. Jackson to Gavros, back to Jackson left side, off the top of a block. It's down for a Tartans point. Gavros' next serve played all the way over and finished at the net by Sophie Pan. She says thank you very much, and she spikes it down to the floor for the kill. Tartans lead by 10, 22-12 in the third set. Gavros' next serve played by Williams. Up to Humphrey, big swing at the net from Conlon, and it's down for the John Carroll point. Jones and Nicholson return for Sheehan and Humphrey respectively. Nicholson goes on serve. It's played by Jackson. Up to Tamala, over to Woodard. Dug out by Nicholson. Derlick plays it over to Williams on a free. Jackson on a dive. Tamala elevates it. Sent over on a free by Jean. McGordy to Nicholson, over to Jones, and it's down for a kill. Woodard got a piece of it, elevated it, but she did so right in the Sophie Pan's head and neck area, and Pan couldn't get her hands up in time to deflect it. So the point goes over to the Blue Streaks, and Nicholson stays on serve. Jackson to Tumala, back to Jackson, left side, dug out by McGordy. Up to Nicholson, over to Williams, kept alive on a tip by the Tartans, sent over on a free by Jackson. Outside attack from Williams, she misses the tip. She goes short with the arm extension, and it hits off the tape and lands on John Carroll's side of the net. Seifert on serve for Carnegie Mellon. And that's going to be an ace as McGordy can't elevate on the reception. And that'll put the Tartans on set point. Seifert's next serve. Up and over. Played up to Nicholson. Conlon finishes it at the net. The Blue Streaks stay alive, but it's set point number 2 for the Tartans. Boozlink comes back in for John Carroll, as does Glow. Williams and Derlick will take seats. Boozlink will be on serve. Zhao up to Tamala. Finish at the net from Sophie Pan. And that's your set point as the Tartans retake the lead in the match by a 2-1 count, courtesy of a 25-15 win in set number 3. We're going to step aside as the teams switch sides and get ready for this fourth set. When we come back, we'll have that fourth set for you between Carnegie Mellon and John Carroll University from the 2025 Marcia French Volleyball Invitational at Baldwin Wallace University, right here on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's NCAA Division III volleyball action on tap this afternoon. We are in match 3 of 4 at the 2025 Marcia French Volleyball Invitational at Baldwin Wallace University. We had 2 matches last night, 4 today, so we are in match 5 of the 6 for the weekend. It's Carnegie Mellon against John Carroll. And after 3 sets, Carnegie Mellon leads it by a 2-1 score. On the floor for the Blue Streaks to start this fourth set, it will be Sheehan, Jabinski, Glow, Humphrey, McGordy, and Williams. And for Carnegie Mellon, it will be Gavros, Tumala, Jackson, Woodard, Zhao, and Herkenrother. Carnegie Mellon will hit left to right, and John Carroll will hit right to left. Tumala on serve. It's played by Glow. Up to Humphrey. Over to Glow right side. Dug out by Woodard. Over to Tumala. Big swing from Zhao. She goes near sideline and puts it down for the Tartans. With another serve, McGordy on a reception. Up to Humphrey. Tipped over by Jabinski. Dug out by Jackson. To Tumala. Over to Zhao off the top of a block. From McGordy, it gets sent over to Glow with a roll shot. On a dive, Gavros keeps it alive. Quick tip by Tumala. Humphrey to McGordy. Over to Sheehan. Off the top of a block. Tumala to Gavros. Over to Zhao. Into a block. It's down for Blue Streaks point. Natalie Glow on serve for John Carroll. Jackson up to Tumala, over to Woodard. Into a block, it's down for a Tartans point. Kate Zhao on serve for Carnegie Mellon. Played by Williams all the way over the net. Herkenrother puts it down, and it's another Carnegie Mellon kill. Jones next serve, played by Williams. Over to Humphrey. Now to Sheehan on a tip. She mishit it and misguided it and put it into the net for another Tartans point. Jones next hit. Over. McGordy to Humphrey. To Jabinski, and it's down far back corner for the John Carroll kill. Conlon comes back for McGordy, and Jabinski will be on serve. Jabinski plays it over Jackson to Tumala. Back to Jackson with a roll shot. Williams backs it up to Humphrey. Back to Williams. Gavros with the dig. Over to Jackson after the third hit. Now it's over to Humphrey. Glow with a back row attack. Dug out by the Tartans. Over to Woodard, and it's going to be down off a deflection from Glow for a point for the Tartans. In for the Tartans, number 3, Bryn Shern, a 5'6" sophomore defensive specialist from Inglewood, Colorado, and Valor Christian Academy. Zoe Gavros on serve for Carnegie Mellon. Play by Glow. Up to Humphrey, outside to Williams, through a block, backed up by Jackson, to Tumala. Sophie Pan hits it off of Glow. It gets sent over by Sheehan, and it's down for the John Carroll kill. Nicholson checks in, goes on serve. Shern on a reception. It gets sent over to Jackson, off her back foot. Glow to Nicholson. Now to Jones, right side on a dive. Shern gets a hand on it, but it's sent out of play by the Tartans. Nicholson's next serve played by Jackson. Up to Tumala. Over to Woodard, into a block, backed up by Gavros, hit right over, then tipped right back by the Blue Streaks. Tumala with a set. Woodard with a roll shot. Glow to Nicholson. Over to Williams, left side, into a block. Williams keeps it alive. Glow sends it back corner. Shern got a hand on it, but couldn't elevate it and redirect it. And that's another point for the Blue Streaks. We're even at 5 here in the fourth set. Nicholson's next serve. Jackson on the reception to Tumala. Back to Jackson. McGordy up to Nicholson. Over to Williams. Dug out by Gavros. Up to Tumala. Over to Woodard. Played up by Nicholson to Glow. Over to Jones on the right side. Into a block. And it's down for a Carnegie Mellon point. Izzy Seifert will come on for Carnegie Mellon. She'll replace Bella Woodard. Seifert sends it over. It's received by McGordy. Up to Nicholson. Over to Jones, left side, and it's down for a kill. Gigi Boozlink will check in for the Blue Streaks to relieve Haley Williams. Gavros on the reception. Up to Tumala, sent over by Pan. Dug out by Boozlink. Sent over by Glow. Shern to Tumala. Over to Jackson off the top of a block. Backed up by Boozlink. Glow with an outside attack, and she puts it down for the kill. Boozlink stays on serve. They'll hit it over. It's played by Gavros. Up to Tumala. Over to Pan. Over top of a block. It's down for the kill as Jones and McGordy were both going for it. They both checked up to make sure that they avoided a collision, and that let the ball hit the court. So it'll be Catherine Jackson on serve for the Tartans. McGordy to Nicholson, over to Jones, dug out by Jackson. To Gavros, now to June, and that's going to be down for another down kill for the Tartans. Jackson's next serve is going to be sent over on a free by Boozlink. Tumala with a set, Jean with another serve through a block, and it's down for a Tartans point. Jackson serve. Played by Boozlink, over to McGordy, now to Jones. Jones hits it into a net. It's a rare attack error. for the first-year star for the Blue Streaks. It's another Carnegie Mellon point. Jackson serving it up for the Tartans once more. McGordy on the reception. Up to Nicholson, and Conlon has her shot blocked at the net, down for a Tartans point. Timeout on the floor by the John Carroll University Blue Streaks. Their first time out of this fourth set. We'll take it with them on the other side of this break. More action between John Carroll and Carnegie Mellon on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Carnegie Mellon and John Carroll doing battle in match 3 of 4 on today, and it's a service ace for Catherine Jackson as the Blue Streaks couldn't get a second hit on it out of the timeout. Jackson's next hit over, played by Gigi Boozlink. It's sent over to Glow, through a block, to Mala, elevates to Gavros, over to Jean on the right side, and that's going to be another kill for the Tartans. And this young lady right here is having an exceptional performance in the Marcia French Volleyball Invitational. Next serve from Jackson goes a little bit too long. It's a point for the Blue Streaks. McGordy on serve, sends it over. It's played up to Pan, and she buries the kill, going far sideline left. Thunders it down to the court. Checking in for the first time this weekend, number 17, Danny Lee, a 5'6" freshman setter from San Francisco, California, and San Francisco University High School. Played by Boozlink, over to Glow now, and it's down for the John Carroll kill. Humphrey and Sheehan return for Nicholson and Jones, respectively. Pan will check out, and Gavros will check in for the Tartans. Received by Jackson, over to Jean. She punches it over, and it's down for another kill. Nea Tamala on serve for Carnegie Mellon. And that's going to be an ace as it hugs the far sideline and drops in for the point. Dumala sends it over again. It's played by McGordy up to Humphrey. Swung on and sent over by Jabinski. Gavros with the set. Woodard with the finish at the net. It's a left-handed kill from the right side for Bella Woodard. Tamala sends it over. Glow plays it. It's punched over by the Blue Streaks. Now over to Jean. Through a block. It's going to be down for another Carnegie Mellon kill. Jade Jean is on some kind of roll. Timeout on the floor by the John Carroll Blue Streaks. It's their second and final timeout of the fourth set, and we're going to take it with them. On the other side of this break, more fourth set action between John Carroll and CMU from BW on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's match 3 of 4 in day 2 action at the Marcia French Volleyball Invitational, and Carnegie Mellon and John Carroll facing off in this matchup. And the serve for Carnegie Mellon goes just a little bit too wide. Out of the timeout, it was Boozlink along with Humphrey, Sheehan, Jabinski, McGordy, and Glow on the floor for John Carroll. Boozlink will check out. Williams will come back. For the Tartans, it's Woodard, Jackson, who's on the reception, Zhao on the hit, and Zhao on the kill for that one, along with Gavros, Tumala, Woodard, Jackson, and Kai Herkenrother. Zhao on serve for Carnegie Mellon. Glow will check out for John Carroll, and Derlick will check in for the Blue Streaks. Zhao serve, played by McGordy, tight to the net, punched up by Humphrey, sent over by Williams. Jackson to Tumala, over to Woodard, dug out by Humphrey. To McGordy, over to Sheehan on the right side. Zhao on the dig, punched over by Tumala. Humphrey with the set, Williams with the hit, Gavros with the dig. Up to Tumala, Herkenrother sends it out of bounds for the Blue Streak point. A short serve off the top of the net, handled by the Tartans as Jackson hits it through a block. Gavros up to Tumala, over to Jackson. She buries it for the kill. McGordy comes back for the Blue Streaks, as does Sophie Pan for Carnegie Mellon, and Kate Jown has checked out for Bryn Shern. Gavros on serve, and that's going to result in an ace as the Blue Streaks hit it off the post that extends from the net. Gavros' next serve, played by Williams, up to Humphrey, over to Sheehan off the top of the block. Shern to Tumala, over to Woodard on the right side. McGordy lunging for it and keeps it alive. Williams hits it into a block, and it's backed up by Derlick, sent over by Humphrey. Gavros to Tumala, big swing from Jackson, kept alive by McGordy. Tumala sets it up for Pan, and Pan hits it out of bounds for the John Carroll point. Nicholson and Jones come back for Humphrey and Sheehan, respectively. And Nicholson will go on serve. It's played by Jackson. Tight to the net to Tumala. Pan this time to leap and couldn't get a hand on it, so it's another John Carroll point. Nicholson serve, played by Shern to Tumala, over to Jackson. It's down for the Carnegie Mellon kill. Izzy Seyfried checks in for Bella Woodard. Seyfried serve, played by Williams. Up to Nicholson, over to Jones. Gavros on the dig. To Tumala, over to Jackson. Through a block. It's kept alive by the Blue Streaks. Williams will send it over. Gavros on the dive, keeps it alive. Now to Tumala, to Jackson, into a block. It's out of bounds. Last touch by the Blue Streaks. 1 point more for the Tartans. Seifert's next serve is wide of the sideline. It's a service error, and point and serve over to the Blue Streaks. Gigi Boozlink checks in, as does Natalie Glow. Williams and Derling will take seats. Gavros on the reception. Tumala tries to slap it over. It's blocked down by Glow for the Blue Streaks point. Boozlink sends it far back corner. Shern to Tumala. Over to Jackson. Through a block, and it's down. Out of bounds off of the Blue Streaks. It's match point for Carnegie Mellon. Kate Zhao will check in. She'll spell Bryn Shern. Catherine Jackson will be on serve. McCourty plays it tight to the net. It's punched over by Conlon. Elevated and sent over by Gavros. Now Conlon once again punches it over, and it lands in between all 6 of the Tartans. So it will be another Blue Streak point, and this one will be served up by Olivia McGordy, and it'll be match point number 2 now for Carnegie Mellon. Played by Gavros, tight to the net, and it's going to be punched out of bounds by Tumala. So that is another match point gone by the boards for the Tartans. This will be match point number 3 now. McGordy stays on serve. Gavros to Tumala, over to Zhao. McGordy gets the hit. It's set up over to Jones, blocked out of bounds by the Tartans. It's another Blue Streaks point. Carnegie Mellon called its first time out of the 4th set, up 24-18 here in the 4th set. We'll be back with the final points of this 4th set between John Carroll and Carnegie Mellon right after this break on Flow College. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. John Carroll with the serve. Carnegie Mellon on match point number 4. And that's how the match ends, as the serve goes long, and the Carnegie Mellon Tartans beat the John Carroll University Blue Streaks in 4 by a 25-17, 22-25, 25-15, 25-18 count. They finish undefeated in the Marcia French Invitational. They win all 3, and they improve to 6-1 on the season. Do the Tartans, the Blue Streaks of John Carroll, fall to 3-4 on the season.